thank you, Noah. We'll check back with you in just a little bit. Tears and music marked the final flight arrival for Aloha Airlines last night. Hundreds of employees waited at Gate 54 to watch the flight come in from Maui. Pilot Daryl Wong joined Aloha in 1976. He's the company's most senior captain, and he was invited to fly the plane.
And they just offered me to fly the last flight. So what else can you do? The company loves you, and everybody loves this company.
Aloha's shutdown ended a 61-year legacy of flying the Hawaiian skies. We're going to spend a few minutes now talking with industry analyst Peter Forman, who we've seen in the news the past few days talking about the situation. I'd like to expand on it a little bit. This isn't exactly unprecedented, but when it happens in a community as close-knit as this one is, virtually the entire community is impacted. Am I on the right track there?
Certainly. There's, of course, the emotional factor, because we all know people who fly for or work for Aloha. And you're going to see a real ripple effect through the economy, because remember, these people have been paid pretty good wages, and they're not going to be jobs that are not going to be replaced. So it's going to be tough on the economy, too.
We've heard figures all the way from 1,900 to 3,500. What's the actual figure, that the number of employees?
Well, 3,500 total employees. There's going to be 1,900 let off today, and then the contract services and freight are going to keep the remainder employed for short term until those units are sold.
Can the gap be filled by the existing carriers?
It looks like it will be able to, because remember, there were plenty of empty seats flying around while Aloha was in business. So planes are going to be much more full now. Hawaiian has really scrambled, thrown some wide bodies on. So I think the gap will be filled, maybe a little bit spotty. For example, middle of the day is going to be tough for a while.
I heard you say earlier on another broadcast that the double whammy of increasing fuel costs and the fare wars were largely responsible for Aloha going under. Could it have been just as easily one of the other carriers if that fare war had gone on?
At this point, Aloha looked like it was the first that was going to go, simply because of a cash position. Remember that Hawaiian has a bigger operation flying to and from the mainlands. They have some revenue from that. Go is just a small part of massive Mesa Airlines on the mainland. So Aloha was clearly in the position. They were in the tougher position on this contest.
You mentioned the mainland routes, and Aloha did have some mainland routes. Will I guess it would just be up to the airline or the FAA to decide whether those smaller airports will be served by a company from Hawaii.
Yes, you will see some interest, and other airlines taking over some of those routes. Now, this is interesting, though. Right now, the real crunch for a lack of seats doesn't seem to be inter-island. It looks like the expansion is more or less taking care of that, with the exception of some tough spots in the middle of the day. But it's the to and from the mainland that seems, Aloha's elimination of those flights, that seems to be causing the most trouble.
Yeah, we've heard some stories already this morning of people on standby, and it doesn't look like some of them are going to get out on their scheduled flights today.
Yeah.
You mentioned Mesa, which is the parent company of Go, and there have been charges and counter charges. They've had to pay Hawaiian $80 million for according to the court, because of some dealings behind closed doors. Court cases continue?
Yes, and in fact, that's a big part of the whole process of the shutdown of Aloha, making sure that that court case continues, and that the investors who put so much money into the airline are going to hopefully be able to take advantage of the return once that court case is heard.
All right, Peter Forman, thank you very much for your insight. We appreciate your being here today.
You're welcome.
We'll take a